Hello everyone, welcome back to the Technomentalist channel. I hope you have all been doing good. This is episode 5 of my journey to financial freedom. Before we get started, I just wanted to say thanks to everyone who has followed us on Twitter. We recently hit the 124 followers. If you haven't yet, please check out the Twitter. We're very active on there, posting multiple times throughout the day. So in this episode, we'll go over the portfolio as usual, and then we'll take a look at one of my holdings, which is Kraken Robotics. It's been just over a week since I uploaded my previous episode in this series, and this portfolio has continued to go up. I think we're at around 102% total return, and if you look here, we're at 135% now. So it's sitting above $6,000. We've actually almost reached $7,000, and I'm just amazed by the amount of growth this portfolio has seen in such a short period of time. For those of you that are new to the channel and new to the series, I started this portfolio for the purpose of this series. I had actually maxed out my tax-free accounts and I couldn't contribute any more to them for the year. So I decided to start this portfolio. Contributions are around $3,000 so far. And then we can see here that it's nearing $7,000. So for the beginning part of 2021, I will not be contributing quite as much to this portfolio as I'm allowed to add more into my tax-free savings accounts. But as the year goes on, I'll probably max out that and then start to add back more into this portfolio. I did send over $200 last week. It should hit the portfolio. There is a holiday tomorrow, so it should hit it sometime in the middle of next week, but I will not be adding thousands of dollars as I was able to in the past. My plan for once that money is available in my account is to split it between Kraken Robotics and Deep Yellow, as those are my two smallest holdings and I'd like to add to those positions. Now that we've taken a look at the portfolio, let's move over to Kraken. Kraken Robotics is a Canadian robotics manufacturer. They have tons of innovative technologies which we'll be taking a look at throughout this episode. Kraken has designed and developed sonar technology, laser sensors, subsea power solutions, and unmanned vehicles for commercial and military applications. The company has partnered with many commercial and government entities. As you can see in this list here, they got the Australian government, Boeing, Government of Canada, the Danish Defense Ministry, Husky Energy, and the United States Navy as well, which is the largest navy in the entire world. So Kraken has a very impressive list of clients and partners, but now let's take a look at some of their products. I think their most important product would be their sonar system. Aquapix is their sonar system, which is a low cost and time-saving way of mapping out the ocean floor through sonar technology. This is important for imaging and exploration of the ocean. For military applications, the governments would want to use it to find mines or anything in the ocean that they need to be aware of. And then for commercial applications, it's good to survey the seabed for whatever project you're completing. Sea Vision is Kraken's 3D laser imaging technology, which scans the ocean and, as you can see, provides a high resolution image for the ocean floor. Both the sonar and 3D laser imaging technologies are compatible with Kraken's autonomous underwater vehicles. So the Thunderfish here is what brings these technologies to life. It is able to use the sonar technology and the laser imaging technology to monitor the ocean. All these technologies have very different applications, as I mentioned, depending on what they are used for. So for defense, they can find mines. For oil and gas, they can look at their infrastructure and map the seabed for potential projects. Same with wind. And there are many other commercial applications such as environmental monitoring and different surveys. Kraken also has a few other products that they offer. So they got the launch and recovery technology, which goes along with their unmanned vehicles. They also have a very efficient subsea battery called Sea Power, which offers the best energy to weight ratio for deep sea batteries on the market. Kraken also offers a towed sonar vehicle, which you can see here. Near the end of 2020, Kraken had announced that they had signed a $36 million contract with the Danish Navy to supply them with equipment as well as the sonar technology. At the same time in 2020, Kraken announced that they had also signed a mine hunting system supply agreement with the Polish Navy for an undisclosed amount. This contract also includes the Catfish towed unmanned vehicle as well as synthetic aperture sonar technology. Let's take a look at Kraken's Q3 2020 reports, as those are the most recent. The year ends haven't come out yet. The first thing that we'll notice with these highlights is that revenues were down significantly year over year from 7.8 million to just 1.5 million. This is not quite concerning as we know that in the previous year Kraken had delivered on a huge order of batteries, which explains the large revenues from the previous year. Another comforting thing is that year-to-date revenues totaled 10.2 million compared to 10.5 million in the previous year, so they're not down too much. And key revenue drivers this year were from the subsea battery segment as well as the Catfish vehicle. The company did incur a larger loss than usual at 2.7 million for the quarter. This can be attributed to lower revenues year over year, as well as the company increasing their costs to prepare for the execution of larger future orders. However, year to date, the net loss is actually down when compared with the previous year at just $2.1 million. The company has a strong balance sheet as of September 30th, 2020, which I'll get into a bit later. I'll do a mini analysis on that. And if we jump down to the CEO comments, we could see that during the quarter, the company received over 40 million of orders from both the Danish and Polish navies. We saw that the Danish agreement was worth 36 million, so we know, therefore, that the Polish Navy agreement was at least $4 million, which is a positive for the company. Overall, this was not a bad quarter for Kraken, and it seems as if 2020 was on track to be a great year. It will be interesting to see how the Q4 financial results turn out. Jumping over to the balance sheet as mentioned, I am fairly impressed with this small caps balance sheet. The company is holding just under 2 million in cash and they have a lot of total assets, and down at the liabilities, we can see that the company has minimal debt. Kraken only has bank indebtedness of 300,000, which comes from line of credits, with the main liability being trades and other payables. So Kraken is in a great financial position for a growing small cap company. I'm impressed with what they got going on so far. I really like the industry that Kraken is in. I think that they have some very innovative technologies that can be used for a variety of purposes, so they don't have just one customer. They're able to sell to militaries as well as commercial companies. Over here we can see that global military spending has continued to grow and saw the biggest spike in a decade for 2019, with military expenditures at 1.9 trillion in 2019, growing 3.6% year over year compared to 2018 and 7.2% when compared to 2010. These expenditures had reached the highest level since 1988. And over here we can see a global naval sonar market for 2019 to 2029. It's just a summary. The sonar market is valued at 2.2 billion as of 2 years ago and is anticipated to reach just under 3 billion by 2029. So not too high of a growth industry, but you have to remember that Kraken has multiple products that they can offer. And if they can capture just a small part of this 2.9 billion, it'll be huge for this microcap. It will be key to see the company move into the Asia Pacific region, which is forecasted to have 37.3% of the market share. You have to remember that Kraken also has commercial customers, so there's an entirely other market for that, but this 2.9 billion by 2029 is just for naval spending. Another source shows that sonar market is predicted to reach $3.7 billion total, including commercial as well as defense uses by 2023. This article says that growing trade activities, maritime safety requirements, as well as tourism will all drive the growth for this sector. Kraken stock has taken a bit of a pullback since 2019 levels where it reached a high of 90 cents. I think these are attractive levels to get into the stock and I'm going to continue to keep buying. Although it is my smallest position, I plan to allocate at least $100 of the 200 I sent over last week towards buying more Kraken shares. As of now, I do have a long position in Kraken Robotics. Things I'm looking for in the future are consistent growth in earnings and revenue, and eventually a swing to profitability for the company, as you don't want to be losing money forever. I think the company has some great technologies, and I'll be looking for the fulfillment of the existing contracts, whether it be commercial or the Navy contracts we saw announced at the end of 2020. As well as securing new contracts, especially with increased military spending as we saw. Now that you've seen a bit of what Kraken's all about, it's important that you do your own due diligence and research. As always, I am not allowed to give investment advice as I don't have those credentials, and it's important that you should be making your own investment decisions even if someone who does have the credentials is recommending for you to buy something. It's best that you look into what you're buying and know in detail what you're getting into before purchasing any sort of investment. If you haven't yet, make sure you go check out our Twitter and Instagram. I'll link those in the description below. I plan on releasing another video sometime next week, not in this series, but I will have an update for my journey to financial freedom sometime late next week. I'd like to release another video of something else, but there will be another episode coming sometime next week for this series. Thank you for watching. This has been my journey to financial freedom.